Yo, 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 what's up on this beautiful Sunday morning, man? We the WTP Sports Dudes live in action. I got Rob in the building. What's up, Rob?
Oh, what's happening? Oh, Mr. OTZ. How you feeling this morning, bro? I like that
I'm good.
name. I like that name.
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm wore out, man. I was over top of that grill for 8 hours yesterday, dog.
Ooh,
8 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you. It wore me out.
right.
Hey man, y'all know what it is though, man. All the channels are scrolling down at the bottom. You can like, comment, subscribe. We really appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, let's jump right into it. Banger last night, just another banger. Um, that was one of the best playoff games I feel like I've seen in years for real. You had Shea, who went Super Saiyan on one end, and then the whole Spurs team, who I thought all pulled up yesterday. They all pulled up. But the Spurs came out victorious. I think Moss is probably the only one that picked the Spurs to win yesterday. I know I picked the Spurs pre-playoffs, but I switched my pick yesterday, and I thought the Thunder would get it done, man. What did you think was the difference in the game yesterday that helped the Spurs pull this game out against the Thunder?
Like you said just a second ago, man, all of their dudes showed up. They were physical, they were aggressive, they were attacked, and they was getting all the loose balls, they was getting second rebounds. They was just everywhere, man. And I felt like that Spurs team was like, listen, we winning this game, man, and we leaving it all out there on this freaking court. And they did just that, man. And I think their hustle was the difference in that game for them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, man, the role players, man. I think one side's role players just played well, and the other side didn't. In all crucial moments of that game, it was either Harper, Vassell, even Fox. Castle. He's a pest on defense at times. He can cause so much problems for your opposing star player, a guard, and he was all over SGA. Even though SGA had a monster game, he had key moments on that defensive end. I even felt like Champagny, he like a silent assassin out there, man. He had crucial moments in that game. And one key guy that I really feel like was a real big difference was Keldon Johnson. I think Keldon Johnson had some outstanding plays throughout this game in key moments to where it may be a shot or just a physical offensive rebound. It was coming from every different direction, man. And I don't even think Wemby had a great game. So for all them guys to show up, man, I think them role players, everybody not named Wemby, was the difference in this game yesterday.
Yeah.
After watching this series, do you think Wemby deserved the MVP over Shea?
Man, I really felt like it was a really, really close race, man, between the two of them. I really do believe that Wemby probably should have won the MVP, but you can't knock what Shea did this season either. But if I had a vote, I would have gave my vote to Wemby because of him being able to play as much as he was able to play this season in comparison to seasons before. The games he was having, the impact he was having on all of those games, I felt like Wemby probably should have been the MVP. And after watching this series, I definitely believe that Wemby, he might be the best player in the world.
Hey, I've been saying Wemby was the best player in the world. Everybody like, nah, we gotta wait to see. He's an alien, man. They pull him off a UFO. Like this dude is unreal, and he still, like I said, I don't even think he had the best game he
Yeah,
could have had yesterday. But I was talking to my dad about this too last night. I don't think neither one of them should have won the MVP. Honestly, I still would have gave it to Joker. Because I think if you remove him off that team, they instantly fall to the bottom of the rank standings. So
that's
I mean, he averaged another triple double. I think we just get tired of seeing certain people's greatness, and that dude Joker had an outstanding season. Um, but I definitely don't think Shea should have won the MVP this year. That team is really stacked from top to bottom. It's stacked. So him winning the MVP, I gotta give him credit. They had the best record in the league still, and he's the head of the snake. I'm not saying he's undeserving of it, but I think you could identify at least four guys that probably really did deserve or have MVP type seasons. So shout out to Shea though, man. He had a hell of a game yesterday. Uh, all right, where we at? Are these two teams budding dynasties? And the reason why I put this question up on here is because we see these two type of rosters. They're both young. Um, they both probably cooked in the oven just about enough. We done seen the Thunder go to the finals and win it last year. Now we got the Spurs in the finals this year with an opportunity to win it all. And I just remember back in the day when I seen the Lakers and the Spurs doing this, where in a decade they both had their young talent in their primes, and they was just running into each other every year. Do you feel like we are on the verge of seeing these teams brew a rivalry and really be running into each other almost every year and competing for a chance to go to the finals?
I definitely do. When you look at OKC, OKC has been an organization that is since its inception has always been pretty relevant. They always built their rosters the right way. They got two major picks coming up in these future drafts, which is going to allow them to get even better with some younger players that they could wait to get developed, and eventually they're going to blossom into what you see on their roster right now. So they're going to be relevant for a really long time. And I feel like the Spurs has just been one of those organizations that we've seen be consistent decade after decade after decade. Of course, they were down a few years ago. They get Wemby, they get some other pieces. I think that this organization has been one of those prominent NBA organizations that they're always going to find a way to be relevant when the time comes. And I think they're going to stay relevant because they have the pieces as well. And I think they got a few pieces that might move on, but they got the ability to get some other pieces to fill in those voids. So I think both of these teams, we're probably going to see year in and year out for at least the next 5 to 7 years playing for this Western Conference Finals and a chance to play in the NBA championship at least for the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, let's welcome our man Post Game to the pod. What's up, Post Game? How you feeling this morning?
Man, feeling good, man. How y'all doing?
Good, man. It's beautiful outside, man. Well, it's beautiful because God woke us up, but it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Post, let's get your thoughts, man. What did you think was the difference in the game last night?
Uh, I what I said like probably a week back or when the series started is that they need production from Hartenstein and the other big Shet. Those dudes disappeared on their home court in a pivotal game 7 matchup. And if I'm OKC, bruh, I'm thinking about shipping Wemby or not Wembley, but Shet out of there. That dude had no zero heart. And I just think it's something with him and Wimby that gets in his head. But the production from their bigs was non-existent, man.
Okay, okay. Hey, so you, so I'm saying, how old is Chet?
He,
24, maybe. If you had all the tools, who would be your target to go centered around a package with Chet? Who will be your target in mind to go grab?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I mean, I think they got enough assets to really pull it off. I think they got so many first round draft picks that they can't even keep them or something. So I heard somebody say that or something. So, um, hey, but after watching this series post, did you think that Wemby deserved the MVP over Shea?
I think the MVP this season, you couldn't go wrong with a few players. You could have named a few players MVP. Uh, I mean Joker. I mean Wimby, Shea. All of them would have been deserving, I think. But I think they got it right. I think with OKC in the regular season, um, dominating the West outside of San Antonio, of course, and Shea having those phenomenal numbers, I think they got it right.
And let's tap into this. To I don't want to botch his name. Let's tap into this comment though. It says Shea generally ruined the game. All he does is flop every other shot. He averaged 30 points per game and goes to the free throw line 12 to 16 times a game. Take away these sorry refs, and he is average at best. Well, how do you guys feel about Shea? I know I've been seeing online. Everybody think he fall more than Allen Iverson. How do you guys feel about Shea and how he played yesterday? And do y'all think that the way he plays is hurting the NBA?
Man, I feel like Shea played really, really well yesterday. He was carrying that team, and he was making some tough shots because they was not allowing him to just do whatever he wanted to do. They were always there, and he hit some big shots, especially in that second quarter when they made that run to get back in it. Now he's playing, like I said yesterday, he's playing within the rules. That's part of the game when you're playing the game of basketball in the NBA. That's just the way the rules are set up. And I know if you've been watching the NBA for decades, there's always been players who have played in that kind of fashion to get to that free throw line because a lot of times that's how you get in rhythm. So I don't fault Shea for playing within the rules of the game. The referees know they got to call those things, and players are so crafty. I think somebody used that word yesterday. Are so crafty that you know that's how the rules are. So I don't blame Shea for doing that. I think he's a phenomenal player. He is way. I don't care if he didn't ever flop. He's way better than average at best.
Yeah, I agree with Rob on that. He is way better than average at best. I think, we mentioned it before on different podcasts. He is a crafty player. He plays within the rules. He is not the only player in league history to know how to draw fouls and get people in foul trouble. So I agree with Rob on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all like I think I said this yesterday or the day before yesterday. He's playing within the rules, man. So if they don't want something, then they need to apply rules for it. If they don't like something, they need to apply rules for it. I don't have no problem with him trying to draw fouls. Some of them be egregious. Don't get me wrong. Some of them really do be egregious. Um, but I mean, nevertheless, if you found something that can get you to the free throw line to shoot free throws, you know, um, then why would you not use it? That's a tool in the bag. So I really don't got a problem with how his style of play. I think that's where the game is. I think everybody flops in today's game, honestly, um, outside of a select few people. But let me get your thoughts on this question as well, too, Post, before we move on. Um, are these two teams budding dynasties? I told Rob, I remember them days where the Lakers and Spurs just kind of kept running into each other almost every year in the decade. Do you see that for the Thunder and the Spurs?
It definitely could be. I mean, man, the West got some monster players. Um, yeah, especially the what the Spurs in Oklahoma City do. They draft really well. They're really great organizations. Um, Especially with OKC with their draft picks, with their assets, they can make a big move like going to get a Giannis or basically whoever they want, really. So I think OKC is here to stay. I would have really liked to see them healthy. You know, I think health played a big part in this series. But to your question, Zay, I definitely think that the Spurs and the Thunder are here to stay, and we're going to see them for years to come.
Hey, before we get into the early finals preview and how we feel about that series and all that, do we think that either side got out coached in this series, or was this just a heavyweight fight they was exchanging, or do we think it was a unbalanced scale?
I think it boiled down to players for OKC and players for the Spurs. They either stepped up and wanted it more, and when you look at the Spurs and what they did in those last two games to win this series, to force a game 7 after winning game 6, their players they just seemed like they wanted it more. You seen all of their guys that touched that court. They played and left it all out on the freaking court as if they life depended on it, like live depended on it, like they were supposed to. And I feel like the OKC team did not do that 2 straight games. They had a chance to win this sucker in 6 and didn't do it when they should have. When you got a chance to close a team out, you got to close them out. You can't give them life because stuff like that happened. And those dudes for the Spurs, like you said earlier, everybody that touched that court, they went out there and gave it all they had. They was hustling. They was physical. They was aggressive. They was attacking the ball. They was getting rebounds offensively and defensively. They just wanted it more. And the OKC players, they sort of didn't perform as well as they should have. And post game mention, Chet just disappeared.
Yeah, I agree with that. The thing that I saw from the Spurs in this series that impressed me is those guards, all those guards they've been drafting lately. Those guys really have heart. They got will. They want to win. They dogs. and I appreciate that because that's what I like to see in basketball. So yeah, man, I think the Spurs, the way that team is built, the heart those guys have, the will to win, you know. So I mean, you gotta give it to them.
Yeah, I think the Spurs kind of restored order in the NBA. Just with the way that they play, the passion that they play with. I thought we was kind of going the wrong direction with it not really feeling. Guys are really friends now in the NBA. You've seen a lot of more beef, just hatred towards each other, probably in the early 2000s, in the 90s. And I kind of felt like the Spurs just they play like they don't like the Thunder, and that's the kind of basketball that I want to see in playoffs. And to answer my own question, yeah, I agree totally with both of y'all. I don't think no one got out coached. I just think one team was better. I think they both played as hard as they could, to get to the ultimate goal, which is to make it to the finals. But man, that Spurs, both of these teams, man, you got to tip your hat to them because that's probably one of the best series that we're going to see, probably in the next 5 years for real, unless they keep on running into each other. I'm telling you, it's a budding rivalry, though. I think this is really a budding rivalry. All right, let's switch over to the finals, man. We got the Knicks and we got the Spurs. What is the keys to the Knicks pulling off the win in the finals? With it, we're gonna hop into this early finals preview. What are y'all's keys for the Knicks to win?
You can go first, Post.
Man, the keys to the Knicks winning an NBA championship. I gotta say they gotta bring it. Like the Knicks got a hell of a starting five. I think the Spurs got a little more depth. I think they got a Carl Anthony Towns is gonna be key because I think he can get his in the post against Wemby. And I think he can bring Wemby out of the paint and allow Brunson to have a little more room to operate and drive the ball. So the keys is going to be health, of course. Everybody need to be healthy. I think Mitchell Robinson, their backup center, who has surgery, is going to be ready to play game one. And he's going to be a pivotal piece, being a 7-footer and being able to match up physically coming off the bench against Wemby. So I think the Knicks, they need to play. They just need to continue to play how they've been playing. They need to stay healthy, of course. That's a given. And I think they need to utilize Carl Anthony Towns in his matchup against Wemby. Like he can't disappear like the OKC bigs did. And if they do that and allow Brunson room to operate in that paint, I think the Knicks can pull it off.
Maybe I should have went first, Post, because you said everything I was gonna say. I feel like Brunson is gonna have to be the key in this thing, but Carl Anthony Towns has got to make it possible for him. So looking at this thing, we already know what the Spurs are going to do, and the Spurs are probably thinking to themselves, depth-wise, we got the advantage in this game. We know that the Knicks have a really good starting five, and the Knicks are going to probably have to find a way to shore Brunson up so that he can get to the cup by having Carl Anthony Towns out there on the perimeter to get Wemby out of there, being a rim protector. I really like the Knicks' chances to be in all of the games, but I don't know what it's going to look like down the stretch when you get to the last 5 to 7 minutes of the game. That might be where the Spurs will have the advantage because they're going to have fresher bodies, in my opinion. But I think if Brunson can do what he does and get to that cup, we might be able to get to see a small guard lead his team to a title.
Yeah, I think this series, if the Knicks win it, it's gonna have to be OG and Mikal Bridges. It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be your two wings. This dude Castle is a pest. The things this dude do on defense, I just don't see Brunson getting off on him. I don't. You deploy him on the Brunson. I think Brunson gonna have a tough series. That means Cat, your wings, Josh Hart. You guys got to play better than what your average is. I feel like, one thing I think the Knicks got going for themselves is their core of guys. Bronson, Michael, and Josh Hart. They won together in college. You add a couple pieces to that core, and you got championship DNA. Even though it hasn't been on the NBA level, these guys are winners. They know how to win. So I think they got that going for themselves. But post game also said it too. Carl Anthony Towns, he cannot afford to disappear at all in this series. He got to be on the forefront, man. Inside, outside, just playing physical. Wemby ain't the most physical guy, so he shouldn't even be out his element in this series. But Cat, I think he needs to probably be the team leader in points in this series for them to be successful. Now, when I say Michael and OG, they need to be doing all the other little things because we mentioned the Spurs and how we felt like it was different guys, Vassell, Fox, Harper, all these guys showed up. They got a plethora of wing options over there in the Spurs that those guys can't afford to have bad games. They just can't. I think the first game is going to set the tone, and I believe it's on the Spurs court. I think they got the better record, if I'm not mistaken. But that first game is going to set the tone, and y'all been off. Y'all swept y'all's team. Y'all should be fresh. Y'all got to come out there and try to steal one early because if y'all don't get one early, I don't know if I could see the Knicks really competing in this series if they go down 2-0 because I think the Spurs is damn hella capable of stealing the game in New York. So if you drop down 3-1 or 3-0, it's definitely over. So I think they got to steal one in the first two games for this series to really be a series.
Yeah, that's some great points. One of the things I want to kind of look at is that the best players on the Spurs really haven't been on this stage. The best players on the Knicks really haven't been on the stage. Does anybody, are the lights too bright for any of these teams? Do we see a team get to the finals and kind of choke? That's something I think we can look out for. We've seen that with younger teams making it to the finals before. So that's something I got my eyes on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, I don't see what and to answer that too, post. I don't know if I see the Spurs because of that mentality that they got, you know. And then on the other side, the Knicks. I mean, they got like the same mentality. I think we got two good young teams that just are dogs. I hope we see some of the best basketball we seen. I hope we see another replica of the intensity we seen in this series.
Yeah, for sure. They both dogs, but that's just something to look out for. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's
hey,
going to happen. I'm saying it could happen.
yeah. Hey, Parlay Post said the Spurs throwing guards on Brunson and make Brunson and Cat play defense. Totally agree, Poe. What are the
1,000%.
keys? What are the keys for the Spurs to win it all?
I think the Spurs are just a much deeper team, and I think they're going to be able to, like Parlay Post said, run bodies at them, especially at that guard position at Brunson, who is the Knicks' best player. I think that those guys are just scrappy dudes, man, and they're really good basketball players as well. And I think they understand that we all got a role to play on this team to win this championship. We seen it in the last series against OKC, and I think that's what we're going to see again in this one. I think the role players, the bench guys, they're going to be the difference in the series because I think the starting fives, as I think Parlay Poe is asking a question about, they're probably going to cancel each other out, and I think the Spurs just has a deeper team than the Knicks.
Yeah,
Paul, we I kind of got a question in there like that. We probably can touch it when that question come up. But go ahead, my bad, post.
you good. The keys for the Spurs. They gotta have that same mentality, man. Their guards were out hustling OKC's guards. They were getting key rebounds. Rebounds was so key for the Spurs and their victory in the Western Conference Finals. I think rebounding is going to play a huge part for the Spurs if they can dominate the boards, if they can frustrate Brunson, if they can cancel out the other guys like OJ or OG Ananobi or Michael Bridges. If those guys struggle, the Knicks don't have a chance. So I think their defense and rebounding is going to be key in this series against the Knicks.
Yeah, hey, listen. As long as the Spurs as a whole pull up like they did yesterday, they'll be fine. The chip, I think the chip is theirs. They gotta continue to pull up like that. Um, hey, which team has the biggest advantage, and what is it?
Man, that's a good question. The biggest advantage is having 7'4" Wimby on your squad. That guy can, with his ability to score inside out, with his ability to kind of disrupt the opposing team's offense with his paint presence. If you can't get easy baskets, you're at a disadvantage against the Spurs. And then if you dribble driving and kicking it out to your shooters and they can't make shots, you at a disadvantage against the Spurs. So the biggest advantage is Wimby. That guy's a generational player. And if he's on, the Spurs will have a great chance to capture another championship.
Yeah, Wimby is definitely one of them. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with their bench. Like I said earlier, I think that they just have more depth than the Knicks, and I think that's the biggest advantage that they're going to have. They're able to throw a lot more bodies at you than what the Knicks can, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game. But one thing that I like about Wimby's growth is even when he's not in the paint, if you have a big that's a good passer and he's faced some really good passing big men, he has that arm length that he can disrupt some of those passing lanes, man, with that length that he has. So I like that about his game, that he doesn't allow himself to shrink. He always plays pretty big. So even though he doesn't have the physique to be physical as you would want him to be, he has that length though that can be disruptive at times.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say the Spurs guards. I think they got more creators on their team. I think you look at the Knicks. Um, I think you look at Brunson and you look around and you be like, who else can really create um offense on a consistent level? Uh, you can look at multiple guys on the Spurs and be like, that guy can create offense. Whether it's Fox, Castle, even though he turns that thing over, he does not take care of that pill at all. But he can create some offense. At times you can see Vassell creating offense. We know what Wimby is. Wimby can create offense. I think they have way more playmakers on the other side. Um, let me ask y'all this first. What is y'all's key matchup? And this is where I kind of felt like kind of tied in the pose question. So while we're here, we can kind of give a matchup too that we think will cancel each other out. But what's your key matchup for this series?
Yeah, fellas, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Wimby and Carl Anthony Towns. I believe that had Denver played the Spurs, Denver had a really good chance of putting the Spurs out. And it's because match styles make fights. Matchups are really big for playoff games. And the reason why is I thought Joker had a chance. He's one of the few players who can actually go at Wimby and cause them trouble and get them in foul trouble. Make them work on the defensive end. Be physical with him. So if Carl Anthony Towns can do the same, I think that's going to be a humongous matchup. If Cat can get on the block and get some points, get Wemby in foul trouble, make him play defense, be physical with him, then I think that's the key matchup, and that's going to be a major key for the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the players who play the 2, the 3, and the 4 for both of these teams are going to be the key matchups. I feel like if Cat comes with the right attitude, he could probably cancel out. Him and Wimby will probably cancel each other out. The guard Brunson against the Spurs guards, they'll probably cancel each other out. But the guys who play the 2, the 3, and the 4, those guys have an opportunity to seize this thing. And whichever one of those combinations of three do that can probably help their team in this series. And I think that those positions are going to be the ones that are going to be the keys in this thing. Because I think Brunson and the guards he's going to face are going to be a wash. And I think Wimby and Cat can be a wash if Cat doesn't disappear. So the 2, 3, and the 4, uh, Michael, you got Hart, you got and you got OG. Those guys are going to have to really play some really good ball for the Knicks, I think, in this series.
Yeah, my key matchup, I'm gonna have to say it's gonna be Castle and Brunson. I think Brunson probably won't be on Castle, but Castle will probably be on Brunson. I don't know who. Just thinking off top, like I don't know who they're gonna have. Brunson Gordon, you probably want to put him on the weak link, and really, it's no weak link. So I'm trying to figure out where they're gonna try to hide him. I probably would start him off on Champagne for real, because Champagne he really want to play on the perimeter. Um, I don't know. That's gonna be tough. Whoever Brunson is on though, on defensively, that's the matchup you got to look at because that guy will probably be able to exploit that matchup. I just think he's too little, honestly. Um, man, you just got to make a guy like that work on defense. Now, a matchup I think can even out if they put Josh Hart on really it could be a number of people. It could be Champagne. It could be. I think Josh Hart really is like the glue guy to the Knicks. He does all the scrappy work. He's gonna get his nose on the boards, even though he's one of the smaller guys on the and that's on the court for them typically. Um, he gonna play defense. Usually, typically, he's gonna play against one of the better players on your team. So I think the Josh Hart, he can kind of cancel out whatever person they put on they match him up with. I think he can cancel out that matchup. Um yeah, that's all I got for that one. Who do y'all think is more important to their team? Wimby or Brunson?
In this
Yeah.
series, it's going to be Brunson.
Yes, sir. I think the fact that the Spurs have so much depth and so many players are playing really well, I think it's going to be Brunson. I think Brunson has to be more important for his team in order for the Knicks to win. Um, Wimby, I think if Wimby doesn't have like one of his games, like big on the stat sheets, I think the Spurs can still find ways to win. I think Brunson has to have a great game in order for the Knicks to win games because I like the Spurs depth, like they got so many players who can step up and make shots The New York Knicks, they got a few players who can step up and make shots, but I think Brunson is the engine of that team and he makes it run.
Rob, did you have anything else to add?
No, Brunson.
Yeah, man. Listen, I like y'all. I like what y'all said. Uh, but man, the Spurs run typically, really, technically four guards. It don't work without Wimby. You don't. You gotta have a deer back there that can get sideline to sideline, contest shots. It's not even offensively. It's just defensively. You got some pests on the guard spots. You got a couple long guys, Harrison Barnes, Vassell. You got a couple guys in there where they're not true fours, but they play the four. I just don't think that team works. If you took off Wimby, you couldn't put nobody else in that spot, and it works the same way. So I gotta go Wimby.
The question is though,
Who's
and
the
I get
more
what you
important?
yeah, the question is though for this series is will Wimby be able to play like that eraser because of
Well,
New York's interior presence? I
well,
don't
I never
think
put series. I never put series. I just said who's more important to their team.
yeah, I just think that Wimby kind of played like the free safety against OKC. He was able to make up for the mistakes his teammates made and kind of erase that mistake because OKC really didn't have a presence down there. I think New York does. So it's going to be interesting to your point to see if Wimby can play like that, given they got Carl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson down there to deal with.
I'm sorry, guys. My phone is freezing. Um. All right. Who you got? The Spurs or the Knicks, man? Let's just go ahead and get into it. I want to hear y'all's pick. Who do y'all got? And
You
how
go
many
first.
games?
Oh man, y'all put me on the spot. Man, I don't. My goodness, I think this is going to be a hell of a series. I said earlier in a podcast we had that I felt like the Knicks had a better chance to win against the Spurs. It's all going to come down to who wants it more. Um, I want to say experience plays a part, but there's not really too much experience when it comes to playing in championships with these two teams. The Spurs have it, but all those players really don't play. When you think about a Harrison Barnes and guys like that, they really don't, accumulate many minutes. But man, if this series plays out the way in my mind it plays out, I feel like if it goes seven, that favors the Spurs. But if this series like tilts in a direction like heavily, I think that favors the Knicks. If they just surprise us and if any team can run a team off the floor, I'm shockingly saying it's the Knicks. If it's a lone series, I'm favoring the Spurs. I'm a go with the Knicks, man. I just feel like the Knicks can win, man. I got the Knicks in six.
Ooh, we're
I
jet
give me the
like
Knicks in
that.
six.
The Knicks is 6. They got a nice ring to it. I'm going with the Spurs in 6. What I'm hoping for and what I'm praying for is that all of these players on both of these teams, nobody gets hit with an injury that might mess this series up. Because I want both of these teams to be playing at their full capacity. So I'm going with the Spurs in 6. But I really hope that this thing goes to a seventh game, man. Because the thrill of being in a seventh game where you know this is a winner take all game would be phenomenal for the NBA, who has been getting a lot of flack because it's not as physical as it used to be. It's being considered a soft league. They too friendly and chummy with each other. I think what we seen in that last series with the Spurs and OKC showed that no, man, everybody ain't chummy. And teams are coming after each other's neck. And I would like to see these two teams do the same thing because their fan bases are like that. They want you to rip out the other opponent guy's heart. So I hope that this thing goes 7, but I'm taking the Spurs in 6.
Yeah, they said you ain't gonna be able to go outside in New York. Uh, I got the Spurs in I got the Spurs in 5, man. I think this is probably gonna be closer to a sweep than a 7 game series. I just don't got faith in some of them dudes over there in New York. I think they disappear. I think OG disappear at times. I think Michael Bridges disappear at times, and I think Cat disappear at times. And after watching what the Spurs did last night, them dudes are about to show up. They really are.
Yeah.
Who y'all got for as y'all's Finals MVP?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. If the Spurs win, I think it'll be Wemby. The Knicks win, like I'm predicting, they're gonna give it to Brunson. That if the Knicks are able to win this series, that means Brunson found a way to create, to find his shots, probably to dominate Fox. They're probably gonna have to throw multiple defenders at him. He's gonna knock down some big shots at the Garden. So I'm gonna go with the two best players. I know we see different years where a role player steps up and steals the MVP, excuse me. But I'm gonna go with the two stars. I'm gonna go with Brunson or Wemby, depending on who wins.
Man, as a fan, you already know that you want the MVP guy to be the main dude on each one of those teams, whoever wins it. And because you don't really remember the role player winning it, you want that main dude to win it. So I'm gonna say either Brunson for the Knicks or Wemby for the Spurs. And I hope that both of those guys go out there and leave it all on the court and they have really, really good series. And whoever wins it wins. I hope they win the MVP. I just don't want to see another name get mentioned as the Finals MVP outside of who is considered to be the best two players on the court for each team.
Yeah, I think we seen in years past that if you have a stellar defensive performance, you can win the Finals MVP, and I think that's where you insert Stephon Castle. I think Stephon Castle can win this MVP based off of his defense and everything else that he does. He's a stat sheet stuffer for real, honestly. Um, and on the other side, if the Knicks do win it all, Brunson's gonna get that MVP. There's no other way around it because I don't think they win a series if he doesn't play good enough to win the Finals MVP. Hey man, y'all got anything else to add? That's all the questions I had, man, for today's show.
Do you think they're going to put Castle in a bunch of pick and rolls to sort of maybe try to free up Brunson to get guarded by somebody else instead of having uh, Castle in his face? I mean, yeah, in his face all day.
Yeah, for all my 2K players out there, he got a legendary pick dodger badge, you know.
Oh,
Um, so I don't really think the pick and roll is going to really matter. And he's that type of defensive pest. Some guys in this league, you think about the Thompson twins. Um, you think about even Josh Hart on the other side is a hell of a defender. Um, but Castle. Well, I'm thinking of a few more. Yeah, I can't think of them right now, but these guys, bro, it's just like having a dominant offensive player. There's nothing you can do for real, you know. Um, Sometimes they play great defense and it's just better offense. But when you got guys like that, all their objective is to slow down the player that they're on. And like for the year, Shea shot 31% from the field when Castle was guarding him. We're talking about the defending two-time MVP, you know, and he shot 31% from the field when he was guarded by Castle throughout the whole season. That's a combination of what five, what they just wanted. That's 12 games. You know, that's 12 games. Um, well, the sample size is large enough. I feel like so. I don't think stuff like that is gonna matter. You know, and then who are you putting in the pick and roll with? You know, because it better not be Wimby.
Yeah, maybe OG.
Yeah, I don't know. Postage, you had something to add to that?
I mean, they gonna. I expect them to play a lot of pick and roll. Um, and I mean, the Spurs have the ability to switch. You know, with their depth at the guard position, well, with their length and athleticism with Wimby. So I mean, that's gonna be an interesting watch, man, and a major key in these here finals. So I mean, it's gonna be tough. This is gonna be a tough series for the Knicks to win, man. But and I'm not usually keen on having a smaller guard being your best player, but they've been playing so well, man. And guys like OG Anobi, who's been the second leading scorer on the team in the playoffs, man. I think that has to switch to Cat being the second leading scorer, if not first. So it's gonna be an interesting watch, man. This is major chess pieces. You know who gonna bring it, bring that lunch pail ready to work. So I'm excited for this one.
Post got the Knicks in six. Rob, you got the Spurs in six. I got the Spurs at five. Drop who you got in the chat, man. We want to know who y'all got and how many games. Um, but yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all pulling up this Sunday morning, man.
Yep, no problem. Glad to be here.
Yeah, if y'all ain't got anything else, we can get up out of here for real. Anything
Cool.
else y'all want to talk about? All right, hey man, all the channels are scrolling down at the bottom. Also, please tap in with the Patreon. You can find us on Patreon and WTP Sports Dudes 2026. And you can get on the website, man. Rob put a lot of time into that website, WTPSportsDudes.com. Get on there, send your questions through there, man. We can add anything you put on there to the podcast or the next show that comes up. We can add your questions to that show and get them answered for you. Make sure y'all hit them bells to get the notification for anytime we doing shows. We drop a lot of content, man. Hey, and y'all know what it is. Hey, we was in the building. We appreciate everybody for joining. We was in the building. Now we out. Peace.
Peace, y'all.